How much Spanish can you actually learn in 8 months? Hola amigos, today we're talking about how much Spanish you can actually learn in 8 meses. That's 8 months. If you stick to a smart study plan, learning Spanish is a different experience from some of the other languages I've studied, like French, Korean, and Japanese. But there are strategies that work for any language, and I'm going to share them with you today. Let's dive straight in. Paso número 1. Start using Spanish today. One of the biggest myths about language learning is that you have to prepare before starting. Nope, just jump right in. Even if you know only 5 words, you can start labeling things around your house. For example, I've got post-it notes on my espejo, mirror, puerta, door, and ventana, window. The goal is to create as much exposure as possible. Play music, put on a Spanish language podcast, or binge watch shows like La Casa de Papel or Club de Cuervos. Even if you don't understand everything, your brain is picking up patterns and rhythms. That's how I started with French, just throwing myself into it. And if you're interested, remember that we have tons of recommendations on the channel for TV shows, movies, books, and so much more. Of course, I'll leave you links in the description. Paso número 2. Build your core vocabulary. Did you know that just 1,000 words cover about 85% of daily conversations in Spanish? That means you don't need to learn all the words, just the ones that matter most. Start with high-frequency words like comer, to eat, hoy, today, or quiero, I want. A great way to learn is by grouping vocabulary into categories that are useful for you. For example, I have a travel list with words like avión, plane, maleta, suitcase, hotel. You don't have to memorize them all at once, just add a few every day. Set goals you can actually reach. Do you know what a SMART plan is? If you're in the corporate world, you've probably heard of this acronym before. But what is it, and how do we apply it to language learning? When learning any language, it's so important to set goals that are specific, realistic, and time-bound. Here's an example. By the end of month 2, have a conversation with a Spanish-speaking friend or tutor. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to happen. Think of goals like this. A specific goal would be, I want to talk about what I ate for breakfast. Quiero hablar acerca de lo que comí para mi desayuno. A measurable one would be, I did it. I studied for 30 minutes today. Lo hice. Estudié por 30 minutos hoy. An ambitious one would be one that pushes you a little. In keeping your goal realistic, you don't want to aim for something like speaking about politics after 2 months. No queremos hablar de política después de 2 meses. No es realista. You would make your goal time-bound by giving yourself a deadline. For example, you want to be an intermediate level by New Year's Eve. Remember, language learning is about progress, not perfection. But sometimes we have to push ourselves a little harder to achieve some progress. Paso número 4. Learn grammar without overloading yourself. Grammar can be intimidating, but it doesn't have to be. Start with the basic. For example, how to conjugate the most common verbs like ser, to be, estar, which is the verb to be but different, and tener, to have. The best tip? Learn grammar in context. Instead of memorizing rules, look up things as you need them. For example, if you're texting someone and you want to say, I went to the park, look up how to say it in Spanish. Fui al parque. And notice the structure. Little by little, grammar will become second nature. Paso número 5. Make it fun. Language learning doesn't have to feel like homework. Find ways to enjoy it. Translate a song you love into Spanish, or write your own silly lyrics using words that you've just learned. Food is also an amazing way to connect with a language. Try out a recipe in Spanish. Tacos al pastor, anyone? You can also make it competitive. Find a friend who's learning Spanish and quiz each other. The point is to keep the process enjoyable so it doesn't feel like a chore. If it's fun, you'll want to come back to it every single day. By the way, if you're serious about learning Spanish and want a personalized plan that works for you, check out Spanish 55. They offer one-on-one coaching with experienced teachers who can help you stay on track and reach your goals. Also, don't forget to tune in to the Conquering Spanish podcast. with even more tips and inspiration. Paso número 6. Test yourself regularly. As you progress, it's important to keep track of what you've learned. Challenge yourself by having short conversations, writing in a journal, or even recording yourself speaking Spanish. Remember, it's okay to make mistakes. Mistakes are proof that you're learning. Learning Spanish in 8 months is absolutely possible if you stay consistent and follow a plan that works for you. Start today, focus on the basics, and keep it fun. And before you go, here's a quick challenge. What's one Spanish word or phrase you've learned recently? Share it in the comments. Don't forget to check out Spanish 55 for coaching and subscribe to the Conquering Spanish podcast for more language tips and motivation. Nos vemos pronto, amigos. Buena suerte con tu español.